So, when reporting ideas by other authors, there are two basic ways to do it. Both will prevent plagiarism, which is our goal, basically. These ways are either direct or indirect quotations. In this video, we will summarize some basic ways of using direct quotations in your text, and we will introduce you to the APA referencing system, which is very widely used citation method by many universities around the world. In a few words, the APA referencing system is a structured format you have to follow when you report your ideas from other sources in your writing. It was developed by the American Psychological Association, and it is like an international referencing language. We can call it that. So, let's look at our first method of direct quotations. In a few words, by using direct quotations, what you do is you transfer the exact words of the author in your writing without committing plagiarism. Good, no? Let's look at an example. So, we have this phrase. Effective teams can be difficult to describe because high performance along one domain does not translate to high performance along another. And as you can see, we have the name of the author, the year, and the page number. So, the author here, in this text, chose to directly quote a longer phrase from a book. Notice that the phrase appears within quotation marks, and adding quotation mark is very, very important, and it's a necessary step when using direct quotations. The second thing you may have noticed is that the phrase within the quotation mark does not start with a capital letter. And of course, this is because the writer of the essay only quoted part of the sentence of the original text. Of course, it is not enough to directly quote a text without citing your sources. The citation always appears after the quotation, as you can see in this example. Let's summarize the rules for direct quoting. So, the first thing you need to know here is that you can only directly quote up to 40 words in one quotation. Make sure you don't overuse direct quotations. Ideally, your essay should include only up to 2 maximum short direct quotations appearing in separate paragraphs. The best way to use them is when writing about certain scientific terms that can't be paraphrased. It takes skill and very good understanding of the text to be able to decide when a direct quotation is appropriate. Essays with a large amount of direct quotations get lower scores as they don't really serve the purpose of academic writing, which is, of course, to demonstrate your own personal writing style. And if you are quoting a whole sentence from a text, maybe you can start with a capital letter and end with a full stop. If you are quoting part of the sentence only, you always start with a lowercase letter and you don't add a full stop in the end. Your quoted text always appears within quotation marks. If you forget to add them, your quotation will be considered plagiarism. So this is a very important point to remember. Never forget to add the citation directly after the quotation. Citations always appear in brackets, and citations always have a standard order. You cannot reverse this order, and you cannot change it in any way. Based on the APA format, the order of a citation appearing in a text is as follows. So you have parentheses, followed by author's surname, followed by a comma, followed by the year of publication, followed by another comma, and followed by the book page. Based on the APA format, if you quote a text with more than 2 authors, the citation appears in the text as follows. So we have parentheses plus the surname of the first author, followed by the phrase "et al., followed by the year of publication, and followed by a parenthesis. If you quote from an internet site without an author, you follow this format. So you have your quote, parentheses, and the website URL. If the text you're quoting is not part of the book with number pages, the format you follow is parentheses, author surname, comma, followed by the year, followed by parentheses. Let's look at some examples now. Discrimination against blacks appears in the form of aversive racism and your citation. Here you see an example of a direct quotation of a term that cannot be paraphrased, as it's a scientific term in sociology created, coined by the author of the text, which is aversive racism. So you have to directly quote it. Villani et al. Believe that spirituality and religiosity have been found to be positive predictors of subjective well-being, even if results are not altogether consistent across studies. And in this text we have our citation. As you can see, there is a direct quotation involving a whole sentence, and it starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Notice here that although the name of the author has already been mentioned in the beginning of the sentence, you will still have to write it again when you cite your source. The quoted article has more than one author, but Villani appeared as the first name in the text. For this reason, only one surname, the first surname, is actually mentioned, and the phrase "et al." represent all other authors in the article, so you don't have to write each individual name. This happens to save space, as many scientific articles or other general articles can have up to 10 contributors sometime. The university's career advisor fosters partnerships with employers, alumni staff, administrators, and the greater community. And as you can see here, this is part of a Paragon University quote, and here we have the website in parentheses. So this is how you can quote from websites.